how you would die on every planet. What's good, YouTube? Back with another video. Hey, I've been loving the support y'all been giving me, bro. Hey, y'all, you know what I'm saying? Y'all keep it up, I'm gonna keep it up. It's that simple, bro. I'm on that grind, bro. As long as y'all show that love, I'm here.
On Pluto
How would
and
you die
taking
on
a
every
look
planet? Let's
around,
get into
the
it.
first thing you would notice is the cold.
Pluto.
In fact, if you look carefully, you'll notice that all the liquid in your body has frozen completely.
Oh.
There are two reasons
So you
that
died.
Pluto is so cold. Number one is that it's far from the sun. Crazy stuff. Number two, however, is because Pluto's atmosphere is made of nitrogen, methane, and carbon monoxide.
Doesn't
The
sound like
atmosphere manages to conduct the
great
cold
times.
straight to your body. Think about it like this. If you're just standing there in the cold air, it's cold, sure, but you can tolerate it. But take one leap into a freezing cold pool, and all of a sudden,
And
your
you're
teeth are
cooked.
chattering, your bones are rattling, and your lips are falling off.
So the air is like
That's because water is a much better heat conductor than air is. Now swap out the pool with thousands of tons of nitrogen, methane, and CO2, and you've got a good idea.
So the air is like
taking
water.
One step onto Pluto without a superheated spacesuit would not be a bright idea. Next up is Mars. Unlike Pluto, this planet is relatively close to the sun. So at least during the day, when the planet reaches temperatures of about 40 degrees Fahrenheit, you wouldn't immediately freeze to death. Unlike during the night,
They
when
don't
the
have,
planet
doesn't
reaches
have
temperatures of
oxygen
about
on Mars though,
220
right?
degrees, during which you would absolutely freeze to death. For reference, the average temperature in a 4-door French door smart refrigerator with 4 types of ice, stainless steel, is about 36 degrees Fahrenheit. Just thought you should know that. But wait, what if it turns out that you're a special child, and you're completely resistant to extreme temperatures? Wow, it must be very easy to survive on Mars now. Well, a couple issues with that. Number
What would
one,
you eat?
Mars does not have a magnetosphere, so the planet is constantly being slammed with a fuck ton of radiation. Every year, Mars is hit with 300 millisieverts of radiation, which is a lot. For reference, that's more radiation than is contained in a single banana. I know, right? And quick fun fact, that much radiation is not actually beneficial to your health. It would kill you almost immediately, and if it didn't, then you would definitely get cancer. Issue number two is that there's no oxygen.
Yeah, I knew there was no oxygen on Mars.
But yeah, if the cold
If I had to choose one planet to live on, I'd choose Earth.
Radiation didn't get you, then you would have max 15 seconds to live, due to the noticeable lack of anything to breathe. Death this way would be like drowning, but worse. Because it's not
Mars
just
the only
water
planet
you're
we can
breathing
live
in,
on.
it's carbon dioxide.
It's the
Probably
closest
one of the
thing we
worst ways to
got.
go out. Yet, that's not all. The last insanely deadly part of life on Mars is the dust.
Ooh,
This planet
you
is
literally
covered
suffocate.
in giant dust storms, whipping dust at you with intent to kill. If you could somehow breathe the air no problem, you wouldn't even want to without some sort of filter, because within seconds, your eyes, nose, and mouth would be filled with dust. You'd end up choking on it as your body is ripped to shreds. Mercury time.
That sounds like a terrible way to die.
The video, then subscribe. Appreciate it. Okay, this planet
Already
is similar to
subscribed, buddy.
Mars.
Hey, y'all subscribe.
Actually,
Y'all
never
heard
mind.
him.
It's pretty much the complete opposite of Mars. First of all, it's the closest planet to the sun, besides the hypothetical planet that is forever locked in rotation, completely opposite us, behind the sun, so that we would never be able to see it, but that's a tale for another day. Due to its proximity to the sun, the heat is completely insane and brutally intense.
Yeah, literally charring.
Mercury, temperatures reach upwards of 800 degrees Fahrenheit.
God
and on the
damn.
cold side, it reaches negative 290
That's
degrees
at least
Celsius.
as hot as a
So
summer
your
day
options are
in
pretty much either to
Texas.
be baked or freeze-dried. I'll take the latter. At 800 degrees Fahrenheit, all the
I'd rather
liquid
be
in your body
frozen.
would evaporate, turning you into a sun-dried tomato in a very short amount of time. Also, notice I said cold and hot side, not night and day. That's because Mercury rotates very slowly. One side is almost always in the dark and cold, while the other is insanely hot. This means that, hypothetically, you'd be able to find a spot right in the middle where it's not too hot or too
Oh
cold.
shit, you'd find literally the golden
So if you
strip,
could,
but you'd have to
what
literally
issues would you face at that
rotate
point?
every day.
Besides the obvious lack of oxygen, which would essentially lead to the same kind of death.
None
as
of these
dying in
places have
space,
oxygen.
There are a couple other issues you may face, namely in the form of giant plasma tornadoes.
Plasma?
I'm not even going to try to explain those. Just let your imagination run free. Also, Mercury
Nigga, how
does
the fuck is
actually have
what is a what does that
magnetosphere,
do to
so
you?
Thankfully, you'll be protected from radiation. But the magnetosphere is a bit of a joke. Since Mercury is so tiny, the protection is really just not great at all. So there's a good chance you'll be slightly deformed by the radiation.
Yeah.
Earth. This planet is actually
Hey, shout out Earth, shout out my planet.
protection from radiation. However, it does have a near 100% mortality rate, so I'd stay away if I were you. Uranus. That's right, you're not gonna get a single Uranus joke. we gotta stay serious around here. This planet is an absolute monster. For one, it's the coldest planet in the entire solar system.
How? If it's
Somehow
not the
colder
farthest.
than
Oh,
Pluto, even though it's closer
yeah.
to the sun. So take all the deaths to freezing we talked about earlier and triple them.
Maybe because it's
Another
smaller.
thing about Uranus is the fact that it's not even solid like earlier planets in the list. You might start on the outside, swimming on the surface, but you would immediately be sucked into the middle due to the extreme gravitational forces. At that point, you would be crushed to death due to the extreme pressure.
What
If the
the
pressure didn't kill you
fuck?
there, the insane heat would. The center of the planet is 4,000 degrees Kelvin.
It's all
Which is
water?
the same temperature as the surface of some stars. Okay, but what if you were somehow suspended above the surface of the planet so the insane cold and pressure wouldn't immediately bring your life to an end? Well, another fun fact about Uranus, the wind on that planet is
Tsunamis.
900 kilometers per hour.
Huge
And
tsunamis.
for my Americans in the audience, that's approximately 7.5 times faster than a bald eagle can fly. So anyone above the surface would just be
Damn, that's
tossed
pretty
around
fast.
and smash into whatever debris may be in the area. Sounds fun. Also, the atmosphere is made of hydrogen, helium, and methane. So, surprise, surprise, you won't be able to breathe.
Figured.
But honestly, that's the least of your worries, given the absurd amount of other things you'll have on your mind. Like, for example, X-rays. Since Uranus will
What the
periodically
fuck?
be blasted by X-rays for whatever reason. Next up, we got Venus. Okay, the second you teleport to Venus, bam, you're crushed to death. Interesting feature of Venus, even though it's smaller than Earth, standing on the surface of the planet is like being half a mile underwater on Earth. The reason for that is the thick atmosphere. The atmosphere is actually the main reason the planet's so deadly. It creates a whole host of problems for potential visitors, among these being acid rain and the greenhouse effect.
Acid rain is crazy.
Yup, the greenhouse effect. Same as the one on Earth, except for one teeny tiny difference. There is 154 times more carbon in the atmosphere on Venus than there is on Earth. Wait,
Damn.
154? I meant 154,000. So, despite being the second furthest planet from the sun, Venus is actually the hottest. Like, by
Damn.
far.
La Venus?
Literally, a single
Damn,
second on this
Venus.
planet would result in your body decomposing and your flesh
I would
shaving off
obviously
your
be able to
bones,
live on Venus.
just like your mother. And of course, you can't forget the brutal landscapes covered in volcanoes and lava rivers. Also, I read that the volcanoes somehow cause lightning storms, so that's a fun little
What's
fact,
up with
I
these
guess.
goddamn
I'm
super
definitely too scared to
planets?
research it further. Venus is probably runner-up for planet with most ways to die, besides our homeland, of course. It's charming like that. Next up, we got the planet famous for things such as being big and kind of brown, I guess.
Saturn?
Jupiter.
Oh,
While
fuck.
Jupiter is very, very deadly, it's arguably the least creative of all the ways planets kill you. Since it's so big, the only thing it's really got going for it is pressure. So as soon as you spawn in on the top layer of the planet, you
You're
would
flattened.
instantly be crushed with a force 1,000 times higher than the force on Earth.
Oh,
But
you're
let's say you
cooked,
survive that
bro.
experience. You got strong bones. 1,000 times Earth just isn't quite enough to end you. Well, at that point, you're dragged to the very center of the planet.
Because you're in
At a
gas.
speed of 49 kilometers per second. As you descend, the pressure builds. It would feel like you're being smashed through brick walls over and over and over. Eventually, you reach the center, at which point you will definitely be crushed under the force of 3 million kilograms of pressure.
God
Saturn,
damn.
the planet famous for being
That's at
second.
least like
Second biggest,
me curling my
second
bicep
coolest
and breaking an
design,
acorn with it.
etc. This death is pretty much the same as Jupiter, but you do get to see brown, so
Oh, that's
there's
dope.
that, I guess. And finally, we reach
Neptune.
which I think would lead to the most insane deaths of any other planet in the list. First of all, you can't breathe, so you're already choking to death on the atmosphere. But, okay, you know the drill. If the lack of oxygen didn't kill you, the wind would. The wind
So
on
he's
this
getting
planet
sloshed
reached
around.
2,000 kilometers per hour.
God
That's double what
damn.
Uranus had. If you
Shit's
appear
almost
for a
as fast
single
as
second
me.
above the surface of the planet, you would immediately be shot around the planet at 2,000 kilometers per hour. An interesting feature of Neptune is that on the planet, it rains diamonds.
What
Which is
the
cool,
fuck?
until you're being chucked around in what is
How does it
essentially
rain
a giant chemical
diamonds?
blender. If you hung around the surface for a bit, you'd be treated to another pleasant surprise. Scientists think that some of the oceans on Neptune are boiling hot. I'm talking temperatures higher than the boiling point of water, kept in place only due to the extreme pressure. So you'd either choke to death,
That's
be
insane.
ripped apart, or boiled to death. What a beautiful planet. YouTube thinks you'll like this video next, so click it.
Alrighty,
Hey,
hey,
subscribe.
I'm catch you to later, Bye.